Hello and welcome to another tutorial from CamiPaige Boutique. I'm Brooke Tannehill and today we are getting festive with this candy cane swirl cup and decal. I absolutely love how this cup turned out and it's perfect to rock during the entire holiday season. As always, all the products I use will be listed in the description below, and you may even find a coupon code or two that saves you some coin. Also, we just launched our brand new Facebook group. So check it out in the link below and take advantage of a bunch of upcoming freebies and giveaways that you aren't going to want to miss. So without further hesitation, let's go ahead and get started. I started with a fully prepped and sanded 30-ounce straight skinny from Parish Tumblers, took it outside, spray painted it, and let the spray paint dry for a good couple of hours before moving into the step that I'm showing you now. The reason why I do this is because we're going to be applying a lot of tape to the cup and we don't want any of the tape coming off when we remove it for the different stripes that we're going to be doing. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a tape measure and I'm going around the top of the cup, and with a pencil I'm marking every inch. So at the 1 inch mark, at the 2 inch mark, at the 3 inch mark, I'm just making a small little tick. And what is amazing about this 30-ounce from Parish Tumblers is that it is exactly 10 inches around. So because of it, it makes the stripes super easy to follow because you don't have to do a bunch of math or try and figure anything out to make sure that everything's going to line up perfectly. Once you have the tick marks around the top, it's time to switch to the bottom. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that the tick marks that you have on the bottom line up perfectly with those around the top rim. And the reason why is that this is going to serve as the template that you're utilizing for the stripes that you're going to put down for your candy cane. So make sure that they're lined up and just make your inch tick marks around the bottom of the cup, and it's going to set you up for success when it's time to apply our tape stripes. Once you have all your tick marks the way that you like, what you're going to do is you're going to get your painter's tape. This is supposedly a 1 inch tape, but it's more like 3/4. So you are going to have one chunkier stripe, and I chose to put my decal over the chunkier stripe because I liked it that way, but you will have that. But what you're going to do is you're going to take the tape and you are going to align one edge at one tip mark and then take the tape and go over 2 tick marks on the bottom. So you can see here, I'm lining it up with the top tick mark and then I'm going over 2 tick marks. And what you'll see happen is that the tape lines up perfectly as a guide as you go around the cup. I did not worry about the bottom of the cup because I chose to do it all red, and I will show you later on in this tutorial how I did it. But once you have the first stripes all lined up, it makes it super easy, and they just go in one right after another, and you just remove them as you move around the cup when it's time for stripes. With the stripes, you could get the red color as the base 2 different ways. Here, what I'm doing is I'm doing a mixture of acrylic paint and Mod Podge to get a red base for the glitter, but you could also remove the stripes and just spray paint them red if that's easier for you. There's no right or wrong when doing this. This is just what I utilized because I was on a live when I recorded this, and it was easier to not have to go outside and spray paint when I had an audience on the line. So I have probably a 1/2 inch flat brush, and I really think that those work best for this because even with the Mod Podge and acrylic paint, depending on the glitter that you're using, you may see the stripes, like the unevenness that you're seeing here through the glitter. So you really want to make sure that you're either getting enough coats of the Mod Podge and acrylic paint, or you're using a full coverage glitter like I am here. So this color that I'm applying is called Fire from Bougie Glitter Boutique. I absolutely love this red. It's so vibrant. It's a medium cut, and you can see here, I got amazing coverage. So all you do is if you decide to use this method, you would just apply the Mod Podge and acrylic paint mixture. I cannot talk, I apologize. And then you just come over with glitter on top of that. So just taking your time. And what's really nice about having the tape on both sides is that you don't have to worry about it being absolutely perfect. The painter's tape is going to give you nice crisp lines. And one thing that you are going to want to do is as you go through this process, and you have all the stripes on, you're going to want to pull the tape as soon as possible. The reason is you don't want that Mod Podge or the acrylic paint to dry with the glitter and attach itself to the paint, and then you accidentally rip off some of the glitter with the tape when you pull it. So as soon as you get your stripes done, just pull the tape and you should have very nice crisp lines that are to be envied. So after I have all of the red glitter applied to the cup, it's time to remove the painter's tape. And again, I'm doing this right after I get the glitter applied to the cup. So that way you don't have anything sticking to the tape when it dries and you remove it that pulls up some of your beautiful glitter that you just laid down. Now, again, you do not want to let your Mod Podge dry. You really want to pull the tape as soon as you get everything applied to the stripes so that you don't have any wonkiness and you get nice crisp lines for the white parts of your candy cane. I let this dry for a couple of hours and then I spray sealed this twice. So I used Rust-Oleum clear gloss spray paint and I spray painted it pretty thickly, I guess. I just have a really nice thick coat to it. And I did that twice just to seal in the red glitter before doing this. And the reason why is I wanted to get a nice crisp red line for the bottom of the cup that you see here. And with doing that, you have to use tape, obviously. And I didn't want any of the glitter that we had already applied to come off when we removed the tape. One trick that I like to use is before I apply the tape, I like to put it on my shirt for just like real fast, just to kind of remove a little bit of the stickiness. And that helps for the tape not to adhere too well to the glitter and pull off any of the design that you've already done. After I get the tape applied, again, I'm just using my acrylic paint and Mod Podge mixture, and I'm covering the bottom of the cup so that I can apply the glitter. So I know it doesn't look like I'm taking my time, but I am taking my time making sure I get the coverage I want. And again, this is Fire from Bougie Glitter Boutiques. And I'm just applying that glitter over that Mod Podge mixture, Mod Podge acrylic paint mixture to get the crisp line at the bottom that I want. Again, with this, as soon as you got the coverage you want, you can see that that stuff is so blingin', you're gonna wanna pull the tape and let that dry before you move into the next step. So here, again, I'm just gently removing the tape, making sure not to pull up any of the glitter that is underneath it because this does not have a coat of epoxy on it, and just making sure to get that nice crisp line for the bottom. That's really gonna make the cup just have that nice added detail, and you can see how pretty that turned out. Now, since I didn't use a spray painted base that gives you really, really great coverage, I wanted to come in and do a second coat of glitter. Now, this is not something that you have to do. I just liked it so that way I really got a nice true red coverage with the glitter that made the candy cane pop. Also, you'll notice that there are really little specks of glitter in the white, and that is because you do not want to hold your clear spray paint too close to your cup when you apply it, because it will shoot glitter everywhere into the white with a nice new adhesive from the spray paint. So don't do what I do, hold the spray paint can far enough away so you don't shoot glitter everywhere. But what I'm doing here is just going back over the white stripes because I want to show you how to apply the glitter using the epoxy method over glitter that's already laid down. So just taking my time, applying the tape back into the stripe area. And it's really nice because since it is the width of the stripe that's already, like the tape is the width of the stripe that's already there, it makes it super easy to apply. And it's also going to help you keep those nice crisp lines with the red glitter that we're doing. Here, all I'm doing is trimming the tape to match up with that line that we did on the bottom of the cup. So that way we could just get another good layer of red glitter on the bottom as well and keep that nice line that we had already done with the tape previously to get the glitter bottomed. So I'm just pulling it back to kind of crease it to see where that line really is, because with the red glitter it's kind of hard to see. But just taking my time, making sure that I have the line that I want to, running my X-Acto knife along that line and giving me a nice edge to that tape that's going to set the cup up for success when we apply the next round of glitter. So for this next step, I mixed up 15 milliliters of a little extra ink epoxy. And the reason why I mixed up so much is because we're going over a bumpy surface with the previous glitter layer that we have here. It takes a little more epoxy, but still you want to use just as little as possible, but enough to give you a good layer to really give a solid adhesive for the next glitter to attach to. So just take your time going around the stripes, don't forget to get the bottom of the cup. And once you're happy with the epoxy coverage, which again, you have a longer work time with epoxy than you do with Mod Podge, so that's why I applied the epoxy first everywhere before applying the glitter. But once you have a nice good coat, come in, let it rip with the glitter that you can see here, and then remove the tape immediately afterwards. I let this cup dry for about 4 hours, spray sealed it twice with Rust-Oleum Clear Gloss spray paint, let it dry fully, and then it was time to start taping off the red stripes. And the reason why we're doing this is because I want to make sure that I have a nice crisp layer for the white stripes. So I am going to spray paint this cup, but this is the prep in order to do that. So we want to cover the red stripes as much as possible to protect them from the spray paint and also the epoxy that we're going to use to apply the white glitter. So just take your time applying the blue painter's tape. And this stripe right here is that one thicker stripe that I told you about earlier. This one does take 2 pieces of tape, but just overlap it and just get your nice crisp lines and you'll be good to go. Also, don't forget to tape off your bottom. I forgot to do it and I had to scrub the bottom of my cup to get the white spray paint off. So just make sure to tape off the whole bottom when you are spray painting so that you don't have the added unnecessary work of trying to get spray paint off of your red glitter. Once you're happy with your tape placement, take this bad boy outside, spray paint it white, and let it dry for about 30 minutes. Now what I'm doing here, it looks like I'm drying the spray paint, but I'm actually just slightly warming the cup so that my epoxy glides on wonderfully smooth and I get some really great coverage for that white glitter that we will be applying. I mixed up for this probably about 10 milliliters of a little extra ink epoxy, but that's because I was working on another project at the same time. I literally use less than a milliliter of epoxy for this application, so don't think that you need a lot. Just simply put the minimal amount possible into the white stripes so that you get that really great adhesive from epoxy, but not too much to where you have the pooling. So take your time. You don't want to go buck wild to where you're pulling any of the tape up and possibly contaminating the white, or not the white, the red glitter. And you're going to be happy that you did so when it comes time to pull the tape. Once you got your epoxy all applied, I started to apply my white glitter. This is Ice Princess from Bougie Glitter Boutiques, and I love this white glitter. It's absolutely amazing, and it's quickly becoming one of my favorites. But I am just going through and applying the white glitter over the epoxy that we had applied, and you don't need to be too careful because you got the red glitter covered, and the epoxy is only where you really want the white glitter. So don't feel like you have to be super delicate and take your time. Just apply the glitter over the epoxy and you will be good to go. After you have all of your glitter applied, especially if you are working with a little extra ink epoxy, you're going to want to pull the tape right away. Now, if you're using other epoxies that take longer to set up, you might want to wait maybe 10 minutes to 30 minutes, but with a little extra ink, because it does set up faster than other epoxies, you want to pull the tape as soon as possible so that you don't have any tape stuck to your cup permanently. After I pull the tape, I just take a dry paintbrush and just lightly brush off the red, just to make sure that when you're pulling the tape or if there's just glitter in the air, that you don't have any contamination, and it's just going to make your red pop that much more. I let the cup dry for about 4 hours, then I went into a coat of epoxy to smooth everything out, and then it was time for striping. This is the silver textured vinyl from Cricut, and what I did is I cut each stripe at 0.175 inches wide and 11 inches long. So that just gave me the width that I want to separate the two colors. And then all I did was just come in and apply between the two stripes, and look at how beautiful that came out. Since these are straight lines, it was pretty easy to do. And what I'm doing here is I'm making sure to rub down the vinyl very nicely so it doesn't move. But then after that, I just keep on going on around the rest of the cup. And one thing I want to call out is you want to split the difference between the red and the white. And what that means is you want to try and get the stripe to where half of the stripe is on the white and half of the stripe is on the red, so that you have even distribution around the whole cup. Because otherwise, if you're all on the red or all on the white, it's going to make the width of the glitter area that you're seeing different, and it might make your stripes look a little wonky when you're viewing it from maybe not very close up, but further across the room. Once you have all your vinyl strips laid, you're going to want to take a super sharp X-Acto knife and just go around the bottom and the top of the cup and push down on the vinyl to remove any excess that you have. What you want to do is try and keep in mind where you want the vinyl to end around the cup so that it's as uniform as possible. So I just use the guide of the red bottom on the bottom of the cup to serve as where I was cutting off the vinyl pieces. But you can see I'm just taking my X-Acto knife, pressing down, kind of rocking the knife back and forth, and then just the piece of vinyl comes right off. Now, up at the top of the cup, you don't want to cut the vinyl off right at the very lip of the top rim. And the reason why is because we are going to sand this area. So you want to leave, I would say almost like an 1/8 or a 1/16 of an inch at the top. So that way you don't run into any issues of your vinyl needing to be sanded or preventing epoxy from adhering correctly. So I come down just a little bit and I just, again, keeping it pretty uniform, well, as uniform as possible around the cup to kind of snip off the vinyl. You can see there kind of the lip that I'm leaving, just a tiny, tiny bit to where it's not going to take away from the aesthetic, but it's going to make sure that everything adheres nicely. And now it is decal time. I actually designed this decal myself, so it is posted in the CamiPaige VIP group for anybody who's interested. And for this, I layered 3 different vinyls on top of each other to get the decal look that I wanted. Now, you could do printable vinyl if that's your jam. I just liked the metallic holographic vinyl that I'm using for the top. So it was a holographic red that I had, and I just layered it over the top of a white permanent, I think it's 351. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But just to give it that nice shape for the decal, and layered it over the top. And then I honestly just came in with that textured vinyl, which is the same thing that we used on the stripes, outlined the shape, and then it was good to apply to the cup. It's not anything too daunting, but I did want to show my process because I think I do it a little bit different than some other people. But when applying the outer edge or outline of the decal, I like to tape down the paper for the other vinyl, so that way you don't have any static electricity, you don't have things lifting that you don't want, and it allows everything just to lay so much nicer when you go to apply it. After you got everything nice and layered, it's time to apply the decal to your cup. So what I like to do when I apply my decal is I like to make sure it's straight first off, and then I start from the middle of the decal and work my way out. So went to one side first, went to the other side afterwards, and that way it allows any air to escape that might be underneath the decal. So you can see here, no bubbles, and that's just because we made sure to go on both sides when applying the decal. After I apply the decal, I wanted to show you how I clean the rim of my cup. What I do is I grab my Dremel and my 120 grit flap wheel and just go around the edge of the cup to expose a little bit of stainless steel for the epoxy to attach to. That just makes sure that fluids don't get in behind the design elements and that your cup is super long lasting. After I did this, I actually forgot to record it, but I mixed up about 20 milliliters of a little extra ink epoxy, applied it to the cup, popped any bubbles that may or may not have been there. And I say that because I don't really have issues with bubbles with a little extra ink epoxy. And this cup was done. It was such a rewarding cup to do. And I hope that this tutorial inspires you guys to make one of your own for the festive Christmas season. As always, thank you for watching. It means so much to me. If you like this tutorial, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you can see future videos. You can also ring the bell so you are notified for all future cup making goodies. Thank you again. I love you guys. Bye.